What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated two-division world champion, reigning WBO super featherweight world champion, Olympic silver medalist, Shakur Stevenson, 17 wins, no losses, no draws, 9 wins by way of knockout, 24 years of age, 5'8", with a 68-inch arm reach, has announced that he will be having a massive mega fight coming up, and that the boxing world is going to be very surprised. The fans are going to be surprised, and it's going to be a fight that's going to be able to crown him a pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, which led many people to speculate and wonder, who is this guy Shakur Stevenson is talking about? Who is he referring to? Who could it possibly be that is going to see Shakur Stevenson be crowned pound-for-pound best fighter in the world? Well, you have to have the process of elimination. And when you factor in that, and then you factor in what's taking place with legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, who promotes Shakur Stevenson, and what's going on right now currently, at the point where a guy that's a mentor and a longtime fighter, top-ranked ESPN and Bob Arum, and undefeated three-division world champion superstar boxer Terence Crawford is now taking Bob Arum, ESPN, and Top Rank to court. And so with that said, that's garnering Bob Arum, ESPN, Top Rank to make a big decision as to what they're going to do going forward, because Terence Crawford has now raised a lot of eyebrows, raised a lot of awareness to what takes place behind the scenes with Top Rank, Bob Arum, and Terence Crawford is a mentor, a big brother to Shakur Stevenson. It's not a coincidence that just a day later, so Terence Crawford makes the comments that Terence Crawford made, and being a mentor of Shakur Stevenson. Terence Crawford, he stated that Top Rank, ESPN, and Bob Arum, well, not ESPN, Top Rank and Bob Arum, they have no interest in promoting young African-American fighters. They don't know how to promote them, and they don't have much interest in doing so, okay? Well, that begs the question, what's next for, obviously, Shakur Stevenson, 24 years of age, Olympic silver medalist. So that put pressure on Top Rank, ESPN, and Bob Arum to make big fights, okay? And a fight that Shakur Stevenson had been seeking out for quite some time is a fight between himself and undefeated two-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer who currently is the reigning WBC super featherweight world champion, superstar boxer Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez is 30 wins, no losses, no draws, 23 wins by way of knockout. Okay, Oscar Valdez is 31 years of age, 5'6", 5'5", with a 66-inch arm reach. Okay, he was last in the ring against Robson Casacia. That was in September. There was a lot of things that surrounded the fight with Robson Casacia, as Oscar Valdez had tested positive for a banned substance. And so there was a lot that surrounded that fight. With that said, Shakur Stevenson, he was the mandatory for Oscar Valdez when they were both at featherweight, 126. And now Shakur Stevenson is looking for a unification bout with Oscar Valdez. There's going to be a lot of names thrown around as to who is going to be the next opponent for Shakur Stevenson to be able to crown him a pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Well, it only makes sense that right now top-ranked Bob Arum make the fight with Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson, okay? There's a lot of pressure on them now that these allegations and statements were made on the part of Terence Crawford that they're not giving the fighters the fights that they're looking for. Terence Crawford was promised a fight with Errol Spence Jr., his biggest rival, and it didn't come to fruition. They have a history of their biggest fighters leaving Top Rank and saying that Top Rank just doesn't, know how to promote certain fighters. So there's a lot of pressure, and it's not a coincidence that the very next day or hours later after Terence Crawford is revealed that Terence Crawford made these statements and that Terence Crawford, is taking Bob Arum and Top Rank to court, that Shakur Stevenson comes out and he states that his next fight is going to be a huge fight that's going to be a fight that crowns him as a pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So with that said, obviously there's names out there, but there's only a few names that can do so for Terence Crawford, and obviously Top Rank, ESPN, and Bob Arum not willing to do joint promotional network shows. And so we know that Bob Arum, he just recently responded to Terence Crawford's comments, and he feels like Terence Crawford is looking to get squeeze money out of him. So Bob Arum is not concerned with, doing that much pressure where he have to do business with other promotional companies. So that pretty much takes 3-division undefeated world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis out the equation. Not to mention top Mayweather Promotions CEO Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather. They stated that they don't have the money to place to make these big fights happen. That will call for Shakur Stevenson to move up to another weight class. That's not going to happen. You have WBC undefeated lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney. He's focused on fighting against newly crowned unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer George Kambosos Jr. in an undisputed match at lightweight. And now you look at it from this standpoint, George Kambosos Jr. is looking for big money, obviously, as he told Devin Haney to sell some of his jewelry to make the fight happen between the two of them. So that lets you know he's definitely looking to get paid, and he's looking to solidify his legacy. Shakur Stevenson moving up in weight doesn't represent that, okay? Not to mention, yes, Shakur Stevenson holds the WBO, World Boxing Organization's title, which they allow you to move up and automatically become the mandatory, but another fighter is already in that position, in Olympic 2-time gold medalist, 3-division world champion, unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer, Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, okay, which brings him in the equation. Lomachenko is looking to secure a fight with, he's looking to fight and secure a fight with George Kambosos Jr. to regain his titles at lightweight. And when asked about Shakur Stevenson fight, Lomachenko says he has no interest in Shakur Stevenson fight unless Shakur Stevenson is coming up to lightweight and has a belt. Okay, so and unless the WBO is going to have ordered Shakur Stevenson face off against Lomachenko in an elimination bout to face George Kambosos Jr. in the future, well, then that X's out Lomachenko, because Lomachenko's not coming back down to 130, and Shakur Stevenson has made it clear that he wants to unify the belts at 130. Okay, so Lomachenko says that he's not coming back down to 130. Bob Arum made mention of a possible Lomachenko-Shakur Stevenson fight, but Lomachenko, he pretty much pushed that away, pushed that to the side when he stated that he's not coming down to 130. He wants the belts at 135. Okay, so that takes Lomachenko pretty much out the equation, unless, again, Shakur Stevenson plans to move up to 135 and fight Lomachenko in a title elimination where he could become the mandatory. Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. look like that's going to take place in May in the mega undisputed showdown in Australia. That's another thing. George Kambosos Jr. is taken out the equation because Bob Arum, Top Rank, are not going to put up big money for George Kambosos versus Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson doesn't bring anything to the table. He's not a pay-per-view star, and he's not a champion at 135. And he's not going to be willing to go to Australia as well. Okay, George Kambosos wants his fight in Australia. So that takes George Kambosos Jr., Devin Haney, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Vasil Lomachenko pretty much out the equation. Okay, now you have Christopher Colbert, who's going into a title showdown, a WBA title. He's going to fight for the vacant WBA title in the future, but that's not going to crown him. Beating Christopher Colbert for the WBA title and unification bout is not going to crown him in the pound-for-pound list. So that leaves one guy. And the pressure is there's pressure applied to Top Rank and ESPN and Bob Arum to make a big fight now that Terence Crawford has come out with these allegations. And it only makes sense for Shakur Stevenson to fight Oscar Valdez, okay? Now, we know Bob Arum, he was stating that he wants to match Oscar Valdez up against Emmanuel Navarrete, who is the champion at featherweight at 126 right now, Mexican superstar boxer. He stated that that's a possible fight that could happen next. And he mentioned that Emmanuel Navarrete was on the radar of Oscar Valdez, as he stated that Oscar Valdez team asked for Emmanuel Navarrete, okay? Emmanuel Navarrete, 35 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 29 wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, 5'7" with a 72-inch arm reach. He last fought against a guy that Shakur Stevenson beat, and Joet Gonzalez, That was October of this year, and he got a unanimous decision victory. So there was talks of Emmanuel Navarrete moving up and facing Oscar Valdez, okay, in his next fight. Emmanuel Navarrete is the WBO featherweight champion. So if he moves up, he would automatically become the mandatory challenger for Shakur Stevenson. But even Shakur Stevenson beating Emmanuel Navarrete, that doesn't garner him to be a pound-for-pound, considered pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. So what would be shocking is to see Oscar Valdez, who most people deem not to want to fight Shakur Stevenson. Bob Arum stated Oscar Valdez had interest in fighting Navarrete. So for Shakur Stevenson to say that a fight is going to crown him pound for pound and en route to being undisputed, well, that would be Oscar Valdez, okay? Process by elimination. It's not going to be Devin Haney. It's not going to be Gervonta Tank Davis. It's not going to be the longest reigning champion in the sport of boxing, WBC featherweight world champion, superstar boxer, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., who has a fight coming up and next Saturday. Even if he moved up in weight, it would not be a unification bout, and it would be a big fight for Shakur Stevenson. Would that land him on the pound for pound list? Yes, because Gary Russell Jr. is a big name. But again, that warrants Top Rank, Bob Arum, and ESPN to do business with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, founder and advisor Al Heyman, and Gary Russell fights on Fox and Showtime. So that would be a joint network situation. It would be, it won't be a unification. It's not going to happen, okay? So with that said, and there's no foregone conclusion that Magnified is going to lose automatically to Gary Russell Jr. Now, I expect Gary Russell Jr. to win this fight against Mark Maceo, but is that a foregone conclusion? No, for Shakur Stevenson to be guaranteeing that, his next fight is going to be against a pound for pound, against a fighter that's going to warrant him to be crowned pound for pound. Okay, so Gary Russell, 31 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 18 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'5", with a 64-inch arm reach. He's facing Mark Magaseo in his next fight, who's an undefeated Manny Pacquiao fighter. 23 wins, no losses, no draws, 16 wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, 5'6", with a 68-inch arm reach. They're fighting January 22nd in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Okay, so Gary Russell has to get past that fight and before he could begin negotiations with a Shakur Stevenson. So this just tells you that Shakur Stevenson is going to fight Oscar Valdez. All signs and roads point to Oscar Valdez. He last fought Oscar Valdez in October, so he's more than available. Bob Arum and Top Rank are going to feel pressure to make a big fight, especially for one of the African-American fighters after the claims and allegations of Terence Crawford. So it only makes sense that you're going to see Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. That will warrant Shakur Stevenson to be on the pound-for-pound list because Oscar Valdez is a 2-division world champion. Oscar Valdez is a WBC champion. This is a unification bout, and Oscar Valdez is held in high regard in the boxing world. So that will warrant Shakur Stevenson beating Oscar Valdez. Will put Shakur Stevenson on the pound-for-pound list, unless he moves up. Becomes Gary Russell, moves up and becomes Vasil Lomachenko's fighter to fight for a WBO eliminator. It has to be Oscar Valdez. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the Real Deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.